So we have been on a journey of forgiveness, and we have been using the rich work, in particular the book of forgiving, the fourfold path of healing ourselves and the world through forgiveness. We've explored so much on this journey. And actually next week, the series comes to an end, and I'll talk more about that at the end of our service. So we have been invited into so much, and a deeper understanding of forgiveness, what it is not. We've been invited into the fourfold path, those steps that if we are seeking to forgive another, we have some resentment, jealousy, upsetment over the actions or inactions, the words of someone else, we have been given the opportunity to live the fourfold path, which we have done, right? It's not over, it's an there is always something for us to let go of, to see where, the Charles Fillmore is, forgiveness is an aspect of our power of elimination, of release. And it is an ongoing process in knowing that we are fully human, we are fully divine. And sometimes when we are in alignment with the consciousness of our wounded human, stuff happens, right? And so the 4 steps when we are wanting to forgive another or ourselves that Desmond and Mfu, his daughter, gives us is to tell the story, just the facts, no moralistic judgments, accounting for what has occurred. And then we are to courageously feel our feelings and name the hurt and share it. Now, mind you, this is a process we do first with ourselves and the support of another before we go to someone who has hurt us, right? It's that inner work first. And so we name that hurt, and then we have the choice whether we're going to forgive or not. And when we're at that 3rd step of choosing to forgive, we say, do I want to carry this victim, the energy of repeating the story over and over, carrying the weight of my past, allowing it to somehow disempower me or define me? Or do I want to walk the hero's journey, knowing that I am powerless over other people, but I claim dominion, as said in the Daily Word, one of our spiritual powers, also called the power of power, that we have the power, we have free will to choose where we will energize our time, our thinking, our thought, who we will be, who we will not be. And so we have an opportunity for new beginnings. And we've seen through powerful sharings of story, of those highlighted in the book of forgiving, how people have done public speaking, who've turned into counselors, wrote books, all turning, remember I talked about in that prayer, that heartache into new life, right? By being transformed. And then at that point, we have a choice to either renew or release. It's always optimal to renew a relationship. But sometimes there's irreconcilable differences, the person is no longer with us, or it's an abusive situation that's not healthy, and so we are asked to release. And then a couple weeks ago, I said, let's take another look at these fourfold steps of forgiveness, because Desmond and Mfu tweaked them to be a little bit more specific for when we are seeking forgiveness from another. When our words or actions or inactions, who we were being, was maybe in alignment with our wounded human self and not from our highest. So we have this opportunity to walk it pretty similar, but there's some differences. So the first step, so let's just look at all of them. So it is admit our wrongdoing, our missteps, what we did that was hurtful. Second step is to listen to the hurt of another. And again, you go through all this on your own first, cleaning up from within, maybe getting support for somebody before we go and do this with the person that we feel we have hurt. So listening to the hurt. And then today we're going to dive into asking for forgiveness, and also, again, we get the choice to renew or release the relationship. So I'm doing a quick, before we get into 3 and 4, I want to just do a quick review of 1 and 2. Admitting the wrongdoing. 4 aspects to that. Self-reflection. Be clear. Where was my behavior, my actions out of an alignment with the truth of me? Then get very specific. Rather than saying, hey, I was unkind to my sister, I would say, my words were hurtful when I said, you are lazy and you are selfish and all you care about is you. Very specific. See, because we can kind of like sidestep feeling the hurt or owning something when we're just like, oh, I was just unkind. Is it the unkind where you forgot to give somebody a tissue? It's a little different when we name it, right? So now we have the opportunity then to say it specifically, get it ready for when we are in person, and we notice if there's any justifications or excuses. Well, I wouldn't have said it to her if she, she always borrows things and never returns them, or she's never there when I have to care for mom, right? We can make excuses and justification. That old commercial, I might be dating myself, but the devil made me do it, right? No, we have free will. So then we also have to weigh the consequences of going to the person and admitting our wrongdoing. Perhaps in a time of financial distress, maybe because I needed to put food on the table, I shoplifted. Weigh the consequences. Maybe Stop and Shop doesn't know. What will happen if I come forward? Do I still come forward? That's an inside job. Or do I now take items over to a food pantry? And we'll talk about making amends today. So there's weighing the consequences. So now let us look at witnessing the hurt, which is the second. It's being present. After I share my remorse of the wrongdoing, and I'm very specific, I listen for the hurt that someone else may share. And in order to do that, you have to do that inner work. Be real clear. And we do that by centering ourselves to the best of the ability in humility and compassion, centering ourselves in the power of love, which is one of our spiritual powers. And from the highest, we unify and harmonize our thoughts, words, and action to be of the highest potential of our consciousness in any given moment. It's not a tit for tat. I'm going to show up as this no matter what. I may not agree with you, but I'm going to be in integrity. And then the second part was to apologize. I talked about the specific words in the apology. I apologize for saying the hurtful words that you are lazy, self-centered, and will never amount to something. I realized that those were hurtful. Now this goes into a flow, even though there's steps, it's like a dance where there's one step and the other, and it all flows and looks like one sacred movement. And so we go into 3 where now we're ready to ask for forgiveness. 2 aspects of that is to listen with humility and compassion. Actually, this is centering ourselves where we're holding that space of how we will ask for forgiveness the words we will choose, and holding, there's a mistake on the slide and I apologize, and the words we will choose and how I will present those words to the person, the importance of that, and then the second part is making that amends. So why is it important about sincerely sharing an apology? People know when you're being honest, but it's really not all about what someone else is thinking. When we forgive, use our power of release to let go of the victim, the old ways of being that are not in alignment with the truth of us, we open ourselves into being that greater realization of the light that we are, that we can heal and transform ourselves. And so why do we ask for forgiveness? So that we can be accountable. Again, it is the power to heal not only me, but it has the power to heal others, the person in specifics, but in all directions of time and space. It also says, I am committed to living in the truth and integrity. And it is a way, again, to liberate ourselves from the past. And it empowers our now. Anything, any prosperity class, vision boards, setting intentions, what do they always bring us to at some point? 12 steps, make a moral and fearless inventory of ourselves and seek amends, right? If we have energetic gunk, how much liftoff? Like, think of us as the light. Think of the brightest light you can see. And now let's pour some gunk on it, right? That's kind of an analogy that we can make. And so how are we to ask for it? And Desmond says that there's no script he can write for you, or you. That is soul-led, spiritually, divinely guided from within. And he says this, I was truly humbled by the forgiveness I saw freely granted. I was awed by the gracious words of apology and profound acts of forgiveness that came out of honest dialogue. There is no secret script I can write that will express your remorse. You must write your own script directly from your heart and your consciousness. This is a place where the power of forgiveness and being forgiven is generated. No one can place remorse in another's heart. Either you feel it or you don't. And the person you have hurt, harm will know if your remorse is genuine and heartfelt. In just this few seconds, Matt's going to share with us a video of Carolyn Mace. It's just a 3-minute video of her allowing you to get in touch with your divine soul. And when the words of somebody in asking forgiveness are soul and heartfelt versus flippant, it's something I need to do, I have to be in relationship with this person, let me just tell them I'm sorry, because I really don't want to hear them nagging anymore. So before I share the video, she uses the word sin. So I want to go over what the metaphysical definition of sin is first, and then on the other side of the video, I want to glean from you what you think Carolyn's definition might be, okay? There's a lot of baggage around the word sin, right? So according to Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, sin means missing the mark. That is, failing short of our divine perfection. Sin is humankind's failure to express the attributes of being, life, love, intelligence, wisdom, and the other God qualities, which are our 12 spiritual powers, and there are more. So now Matt's going to share the video. And then on the other side, we're going to have a little discussion.
The instrument to heal is the soul. You would say to me now, well, okay, help me out here. What's the soul? I know you would. You're going to follow me out and you're going to say that. So I'm just going to close and I will take you to the door of your soul. Is that fair? Okay. It won't take long. It'll take just a minute, just a second. I want you to imagine, I want you to suit up. I want you to put in your, just get into this. Get into a situation, a memory, a feeling of someone who you just can't forgive. Can all of you do that for me? Have all of you got one unforgivable thing? Okay. I want you to picture that person coming up to you and saying, whoa, bummer. I'm sorry I did this, but you know I never meant to hurt you. And hey, can we just call it a day? And they leave. And you go like this. How come that didn't feel right? How come that didn't clean up the table? Why? I'll tell you why. What's the whole, it's that there was that whole little thing, I never meant to hurt you. That's the thing you can't forgive because it goes right to your soul. That toxic, sick feeling that says, what do you mean you never meant to hurt me? What? That, I want you to just picture the sword going right past your mind, going right into your soul, because that's the thing, right there. Now I want to picture this. Let's redo the scene. Comes up to you and says, I need to speak with you. I need to tell you something. I consciously knew what I was doing. I consciously knew it. And I have to call it something else. I sinned against you. It was a sin. I heard my conscience tell me not to do this, and I didn't listen. And it didn't matter to me. And I know that my actions redirected the course of your life. It was conscious. That was a sin because it was conscious. And how much it hurt you did not stop me. This is not a boo-boo. This is not an apology. I am confessing my soul to you. And I'm asking now for your forgiveness. The depth of that, did it touch your soul? That's your soul. That gets the sword out. That's what heals.
Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited to give you
The instrument.
So, hi, Oprah. What'd you experience? Somebody wants to put anything in the chat box from Zoom, I invite them. So what did you experience? And according to Carolyn, how would she maybe, do you think, we can only surmise, how she would characterize sin? I know there's, you don't ever have to use that word, but I just want us to see what was illicit. Anybody here? What feelings came up for you? Anybody? Deb, can we just pass the mic? Thanks, just so that people can hear you on Zoom. Thanks.
Sure.
And thank you for having the courage to share.
Oh, yeah, right.
This is not an easy thing to share
No,
about.
this is not an easy thing. I envisioned two people who I really hurt, and I felt this gut-wrenching, searing pain that just tore through me. And when she said, I'm not apologizing. It's like I sinned. I did an egregious act and I consciously knew what I was doing. That's the piece that really got me because I reflected back to those actions that I had done. And I went, wow, yes, there was a conscious awareness. There was choice point. And I chose. I knew otherwise and I chose. So that is what really got me in my gut.
Yeah.
I quite don't really think I know how she would define sin other than just.
I think you said it. I think
Other
what I
than-
heard you say, I mean, who knows, doing an egregious act consciously that caused hurt to another.
Yeah.
Right. And that was in that time from the consciousness of where you were. Because we all have, right? We're not trying to make excuses, but at the same time, we're not here to be hard on ourselves. We're all evolving souls. And sometimes patterns of behavior, addictions, dis-ease are passed down. And so the good news is we get to wake up and heal, not only ourselves, but generations before and generations to come. And a lot of times, there's trauma. And so sometimes if we don't know how to heal that trauma, we turn to other things. So thank you for being so courageous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything on Zoom, Matt? Do you want to share? Maybe we'll pass the mic to Matt, or I'll repeat. Let me repeat. Okay. So powerful when there was total honesty of what she had done. Yep, taking full responsibility, having insight, taking responsibility for our words and behavior. Right, the second example, there was that feeling, being in touch with the soul in our hearts that it was genuine. I'm paraphrasing. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Debbie. Insincere apologies only makes a situation worse. Can we all agree? Isn't that infuriating? Yes, Keith.
There are times due to our own insensitivity that we hurt or offend others.
Yes.
We still need to take responsibility for it.
Yes.
But forgiveness requires a discussion of the hurt.
Yes, I don't know if I will remember exactly everything, but that sometimes in our own hurtfulness that we hurt people, and it doesn't excuse us from not making the apology, but it should lead to an opening of some kind of dialogue. Did I capture that okay? Okay. Lisa, did you want to share? Sorry. I'll repeat it. Don't worry about it if you can't. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So Lisa's speaking about generationally, like when, maybe we were in older generations where adults didn't think that they had to apologize to their children, right? Like, I'm the adult, I am the authority. And we can see like our soul's evolution over time. Can we not see so much has transcended and transformed? And even in like my mother's and father's generation, there was no self-reflection like we do. And now, like maybe in our generation, it may even go to an extreme. And I don't mean it that way, it's good, but we can really overanalyze ourselves and get stuck in the analysis, right? Rather than, okay, what am I going to do to take action to be the light? Yes, there is a process. So thank you for sharing that. So yes, to make a conscious choice, my take was similar to Deb, to make a conscious choice to say sin, to say or do something that was hurt or harmful. Now, it doesn't mean that I was in my right mind, and it doesn't excuse us, as Keith alluded to, or whatever. We were maybe hurting ourselves, but then we have the opportunity to choose again, don't we? And let me tell you, one of the best things you can model for anybody that is close to you in your life, and especially your children, is to choose again, to name it, claim it, make amends. Guess what you're doing? You're modeling it for them. All right, so as we move on, we're going to go into the other aspects of asking for forgiveness. So there may be, making restitution. I think I might have skipped, did we skip? No, we didn't. Okay. So making amends, sometimes we're agreeing to change our behavior, commit to maybe going to counseling, going to a spiritual book study, being specific as how we are going to change our behavior, pay somebody back if we never repaid a loan from 5 or 6 years ago, and maybe it will be $5 a month. Those are all things. And that also leads into restitution when it's a physical item that was broken, taken, lost. We have the ability to, pay back the debt, replace the item, contribute to a cause, and offer our time and service. We have to remember that it takes time to build trust. Just because we may be ready to, we've done the inner work ourselves and we're ready to seek the forgiveness, everybody's on their own path and readiness and capability of experiencing their hurt, wanting to talk about it. Some people rather not. And so we have to understand that once we reestablish the new behavior over a period of time, when we're in alignment with our integrity and our core values and we're showing up, that helps to build trust. And then finally, we're asked to let it go. There are going to be times where people are not ready maybe to forgive you. Again, because of their own process. We cannot force that for another. But we can take a deep breath and know that we are called to be gentle. If we have been as sincere can be, to be gentle with ourselves, to be kind, to be loving to ourselves, to show up in ways that are powerful in the lives of others if someone is choosing to release the relationship. And this is so, so, so important. Healing and liberation is not dependent on another person. It is not. If you have done the inner work, have made sincere amends, soul amends, changed behavior, are offering yourself in new, profound ways. No one, what we say, no one or no thing can upset the calm peace of my soul. No one or no thing can hide my light under a bushel basket. That's, to me, freeing. But we have to be okay with where someone else is and is not. And so the last step, again, the dance that leads into that is the renewal or the release. Always looking to renew the relationship. That is a give and take. Maybe not only you are committing to do things, but maybe the other person, right? It takes two to tango, so to speak. There's a dialogue about what is needed, sharing of ideas, of commitments, of needs. And when we're renewing, it's not a one-off. How many of you are in a long-term relationship? It could be with your children, a significant other, a friend. Okay? It's a revisiting. Hey, how are things going? Maybe, what do you think? How can we be more truthful or honest with each other? How could we become more intimate and in intimacy, bearing of our souls and being of support to each other? But then there are times where we must release. Person is no longer with us. There are irreconcilable differences, or the relationship was toxic in a way where it was abusive, harmful, hurtful, and it wouldn't be the wisest thing to go back to. But I also want you to know that release here is not just about releasing, stopping the relationship. It's you making that commitment to show up the way you said, to no longer living as the victim, living your life to your fullest potential. And so Desmond and Mfu share this. Releasing a relationship is how you free yourself from victimhood and trauma. You can choose to not have someone in your life any longer, but you have released the relationship only when you have truly chosen the path without wishing that person ill. Releasing is refusing to let an experience or a person occupy space in your head or your heart any longer. It is releasing not only their relationship, but your old story, old ways of being of the relationship. And so, my friends, as we come to a close today, and next week, I want to talk a little bit about that. In the beginning of the series, way back when, I had asked you to think of someone, something to forgive, a situation. Some of you chose what you were willing to release or forgive and placed it in the Easter egg, right? And held the vision of, as you walk through the 4 steps, what new life were you saying yes to? And that was the butterflies we planted in the garden. So next week, we're going to play, do a little quizzing of the steps, but then I want to hear from you. What were some of the things that you took from the series that might have been helpful? Maybe you have something about forgiveness you want to share, or maybe you want to share about what you put in that egg if you so courageously wanted to. Some of you took the egg, some of you left it in the basket, so if you have one in the basket, you can take it, or leave it there, incubating for another week to be hatched. So it is my hope that along this journey, that there was something that was helpful to you, something that helped your own healing journey, your deepening of your understanding of forgiveness, that you were willing to look at it in new eyes and to use the steps as tools along your journey. And so we'll share that next week. So right now I want to close with a meditation on release, relinquishing. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. Bearing witness to your breath, sensing the warmth or the coolness of each inhalation and exhalation. And allowing your breath to be the guide that brings you inward to that inner sanctuary of your divine soul. And with every beat of your heart, sense now the breath emanating from your heart space. And with each breath that is deep and slow, let us move past our beautiful human hearts and let us ascend in consciousness as we affirm and decree that our hearts beat in holy unison with the cosmic heartbeat of all creation. God, the invisible substance, breath of all life, the creator of light, the energy and vibration of pure potential and light, waiting for us to tap into. And so as we affirm that we move and breathe and have our very being in the light and the fullness of the Holy One, the substance of life, let us release, release all that does not serve us, that stands in the way of us knowing and claiming the light that we are. And allow my words to be your words. Oh, I release my parents from my belief that they have wronged me, failed me. I release my children from the need to make me proud, to do as I say, to live as I would have them live. Oh, I surrender them now. Allow them to live by the wisdom of their soul. May they live fully into their soul's lesson and know their divine potential and light. And let me release my partner currently and in all directions of time and space, partners I have had. Let me release them from the obligation to make me feel complete and to fulfill my every need. For I lack nothing in myself. And let me thank my grandparents and ancestors who came before me so that today I can breathe new life. Allow me to release my ancestors from their faults, their shortcomings, knowing in the state of consciousness of their woundedness, they did the best they could. Oh, I honor them. I love them and I recognize their innocence as I bear my soul before their souls. Allow me to relinquish my consciousness from the grips of hubris, gluttony, selfishness, resentment, victimhood, judgment, superiority, and the urge to wound another with my words and actions. Cleanse my soul. And let my consciousness be illuminated with the light of strength, of love, understanding, wisdom. Oh, let there be light within as I make conscious choices to live in service not only to my own healing and transformation, but to the healing and transformation of my fellow sojourners. Let me learn the soul lessons I've come to learn, and let me allow my loved ones to do the same. And when my learning comes cloaked in darkness, Let my faith be pointed in the unwavering truth and conviction that dying to the old is part of my evolutionary journey of awakening. Oh, I allow everyone and everything to be my teacher. Say that with me. I allow everyone and everything to be my teacher. Let my heart be softened and grow in wisdom with each lesson along my journey. And together, let my heart be softened and grow in wisdom with each lesson along my journey. Let me be the light. I am the light. And so it is. And so it shall be. Amen. Breathing in, feeling the vitality of that truth, feeling the lightness of all that you courageously have let go of, and standing in power and truth, may you be bold in love, light, and truth. Amen and namaste. Have a blessed day and a blessed week.